And we are live. Another broadcast, the Roofing on the Rise Studios, where we are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated. Thank you so much, Roofing Supply Incorporated. That's where you can get your shingles from me here in the Houston marketplace. Telephone number 210-919-8987. We are also sponsored by West Group Public Adjusters. If you're looking for an amazing public adjuster experience, reach out. West Group is the way to go. Today, we have an amazing guest. We have William Bells with Terra Solar Technologies. William, how are you doing today?
Tired. It's been a long week. I always feel like the week right after the holiday is like the longest 4-day week in my life. But I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here, and I know we missed it last time, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have missed it the second time for the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It has been an a interesting past few weeks, I would say, for me. And yeah, with the holiday, it's always kind of like weird. It's like a laggy, like ugh. And I golfed twice this week. Not like it's a rough life,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's hot. So like, we're out. I was out in Galveston. It was the hottest that it's been in Galveston since like the 1980s, and it was the day I went golfing. Like it was so hot. Me and the owner of RSI, Darren Bro, we're like, look, we're done, dude. Like we skipped a couple holes, like 5 or 6 holes.
Yeah, right.
We were done, dude. It was hot. But man, so sweeping across the nation, I could see it all over social media. A partnership that has happened between you and a really, really successful and popular sales trainer. Tell me a little bit about that.
So yeah, so Pro Terra and Rebecca Switzer with Roof Sales Mastery, Beck and I, we've gone back and we've kind of been toying around with this idea, and I think really like into December, beginning of January, we really wanted to come together and put two industries that I think have been so far apart, arguably, um, at each other's throats for quite some time, and to try to help like blend it over, right? And so we
Yeah.
started formulating solar sales mastery in January, and through a really awesome collective effort from not just the two of us. I know there's been some other like companies and individuals that have helped us formulate this. We formed Solar Sales Mastery, and I believe it just left its beta, like its pre-launch
Yeah.
in August, with the premise of teaching roofing contractors on how to sell solar. And I
Hmm.
and I'm talking from the most detailed training that we could really come up with that connects the industry. And Becca's done a fantastic job working with us on that.
Man, that's like some next level shit right there.
Yeah, that was the goal. Roofers we're known for being stubborn, so we had to make sure that it was the way for us all to realize, one, it's okay to sell solar, and two, how does it make you money? I think that's the
Hmm.
biggest thing is stepping out of our roots. We've been in, for me, home improvement for 3 generations. It was what was solar? What is this? I didn't even hear about solar till, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years, and then it just erupted everywhere. So what was this, and how do I capitalize on it? And I think
Yeah.
now this is our way of instead of you guys kind of figuring it out like I did, and the slower way, it's here you guys go. Here's a book on how to do it.
Huh. That is so for so long, right? And we kind of touched on this like when we were setting all the studio up and stuff, but you know, roofing sales reps, roofing company owners in general, unless you've done extensive training in solar and actually sold solar successfully without screwing over the old lady with no tax liability,
Right.
then you really don't know what you're doing. And so you really need guidance and partnership really with someone like yourself that knows the ins and outs, that can produce the quality and which that client is actually looking for.
Right.
Um, you know, my big thing on solar is actually, is it beneficial for the client, right?
Right.
And so I'd like your take on that, on, when is solar beneficial?
So, obviously solar is beneficial, and you can like splice up each different pieces. But for me, if somebody's lived in their home, they've lived in there for over a year, but you can put solar on before then, and they plan on staying there and they love their electricity, like this podcast, like AC, it's always going to find a benefit in regards to whether you just want to, produce your own power and not pull from the grid. Maybe you want to use a battery option to keep your I don't know, your fridge operating when everybody else loses power. Or maybe it's a financial, gain for you, and you want to look at selling back to the utility company. It hits multiple angles, and I think for us, especially like for me, if you were to like type in like prime candidates, is if you're going to be in your house for 25 years, you're going to always pay your electricity bill. What have you got to lose? To me, it's almost as much of a no-brainer as a roof. I know I don't want the stuff in my house wet. I got to have a good roof on there. I know I'm always
Right.
going to pay my electricity bill. So it has always found its way. And the best part is, until the sun stops shining, it'll be useful.
I
It's
gotcha.
free energy.
So what about the buyback? So, a lot of people, I bet, we talked about this, I want to say 2 months ago at a HARCA meeting, Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association. By the way, if you're listening and you're wondering what to do on Tuesday, 10:30, Greater Houston Builder Association, come by. We've got a metal training with Houston Area Roofing Contractor Association. We'd love to plug you in. But we're doing one, and solar, of course, came up. It's like solar comes up more often times than not in conversation. It's ridiculous. And so what was being communicated was the buyback. And so, you know, we were going over Texas's buyback compared to, other states' buyback, right? Can you expand on the buyback? And for those that really don't understand what buyback is, can you like fill that in for us?
So that to me, that question is like the most unique, right? I used to talk about it with like impact resistant shingles and like what really defines hail resistant. The
Yeah.
biggest thing that I can tell you as a homeowner, if that was I was talking specifically, is you got to follow this down all the way to the utility company, not just to the state that you live in, because so much stuff changes constantly and it stays in a constant state. Here's what I will promise you, because everybody hears the word buyback, or you see ads, free solar, or you'll get a check at the end of the year. None of that is true. There's no such thing as free solar. Nobody's cutting you massive checks at the end of the month. Um,
Mhm.
Most utility companies, to be honest, a lot of them have come back to just giving you credits. So the
Mm.
key to what I would tell individuals to focus on is finding Texas is a great example because you mentioned it. You guys have been kind of seeing those rolling blackouts. People have been
Yeah.
talking that a lot since I think that great freeze in what 2019,
Yeah.
2020, something like that.
A
Is
great freeze.
yeah, right. Well, I remember my own supplier rep going, "My house is frozen over. This isn't supposed to happen down here."
Yeah. I
It's
laugh. It was horrible. Like it was it was
It,
horrible,
it
but
was bad,
yeah.
but the reality is like utilizing solar for that advantage to maintain your property and to keep you going, but also to sell back to the grid, and in the way of getting your credits and preservations that way, and storing it up as well, and also being able to stay in front of the fact that utility rates are rising every year. And I think that's a big offset that a lot of people don't factor is every year that whether you realize maybe it's $5, but every year
Yeah.
that you pay for it, you pay more. Where once you put your solar system on, whether you finance or pay it with cash, either way, it finds that it's standard position. So I would tell you without like giving you this like odd, more vague answer than I've already given you is you have to look at each utility company in each state specific and find even your caps and the programs back. Because every state beyond that, beyond like your federal tax credit, some states have their own SRECs. Some states have their own state incentives. So, following through with that and really understanding what it is, and a licensed and professional solar contractor, whether me or somebody else, can walk you through exactly how cheap you can go and what you can do with that from there.
Explain to me what exactly Terra Technologies does, right? Because, we kind of jumped right into the training, and that's partly, that's 100% me. Sorry, guys. I was really excited about jumping into the training portion, but explain to us what exactly your company does and how it could be beneficial.
So, like a lot of others, Terra Solar Technologies, we are a residential and commercial solar contractor. So we do have our own in-house W-2 sales reps that do probably, what most roofing and solar companies do. We sell our own deals and install our own. And that is a huge section of a wing that we provide. But it is not the only section.
Not just EPC.
Not just EPC. We have our own in-house guys that we do sell, and we have brick and mortars, and just like the rest of your own company.
That's what I'd like to see.
The EPC side is the side that covers both solar dealers and solar sales orgs, and now through the training program has allowed roofing contractors to add solar to their Rolodex. And I break that down in like kind of a simple concept that I had to break down to myself, where you kind of see that old saying like, oh, you can go to Texas and get $1,000 GL and go knock some doors and work some hell, and you're good to go, because Texas is easy to be a roofing contractor. Texas is very hard to be a solar contractor. Their license requirement is harder than the states that surround them, really.
Really?
And so, from having a master electrician. So just the startup cost, if somebody was to say, hey, I'll just go be a solar contractor, how bad could it be? Well, master electricians don't work for minimum wage, I can tell you that. So, so there's a lot to it. So the EPC program has allowed and created virtually a platform that allows you guys your own production team, but to add now solar to that Rolodex. And to sell and to finance and to handle utility companies and permitting, and save you the massive overhead as you start building that out. Plus, with Solar Sales Mastery, it teaches you how to add it, how to use it, how to recruit, how to train, and then how to sell it. And that's the best part for me, is I recognize that people are going to sell solar anyway. You might as well know how to do it the right way. I mean, how much did we think we know about roofing, 7, 8, 9 years ago versus how much do we think we know now? I could argue and say, how much did I know last year versus what I know now? So it's just a way of teaching. But internally, we have a fantastic group of individuals that on the residential sales side, my partner, my friend, Mike, runs that whole section. And we try to do things different. Like we really want to harness like, for example, I know I'm going to get some flack for this, so be advised. But we don't believe in making our sales managers commission only. That was a big deal for us. We give them all good salaries and put them in a place to where they don't sell against the rest of their teams. I know that I've heard people go, well, how do you know they're going to sell? Let me tell you, when they're not starving for money, their sales teams work a whole lot better. And we want to foster that, you know what I mean? We want to harness that, and
I'm
that
glad
was
that you touched on that.
It was big. I mean, how many times have you seen, building teams where the sales manager gets 10 leads and he's like, oh, these 5 are the easiest ones because he don't got no salary, he got a family at home. He kept them.
Yeah.
And then he dishes out the others. And so we
and then you've got the other side where he gives away all the leads and then they don't translate into money, right? And so you've got a double-edged sword there, and I can speak on this because I built sales teams for the last 11 years, and I've walked through this, right? This is
Right.
kind of one of the biggest things that is sweeping the nation right now in regards to uh, business ownership and really how we do business. It's changing. And so I think that the way in which that you structure your internal office is very important, and it could make or break your company. It can
Agreed.
make or break your sales team and your sales culture, and that culture is everything. When someone comes in and they're stacking and starving, basically,
Right.
and this is, I mean, across the industry.
100%.
TJ McCormick posted about it last week. Um, it's not a healthy model, and it ends up with those managers or what have you taking those deals, and then what happens to the guys underneath him? They have that thought and that mentality that there's, well, hell, he's going to take all the leads, or he's going to take the good ones. I'm stuck with this, and it breeds that nastiness
The
in the sales
animosity.
team that you really
Yeah.
don't want. It's toxic.
100%. And
So
you get that sales manager. I'm not known for that my sales management skills, but you get that like anxiety from them. Hey, I got to sell, and if they're not selling, I'm not getting an override,
yeah,
and then I'm not eating, and then this and that.
yeah,
Here
yeah.
we were like, no, we don't want that. We want them to feel good, and then they'll, when they feel good, their team feels good, and when we enable them for
Mhm.
success, they enable their team for success.
Yep.
And I know people are like, well, what happens if they don't sell? That's not hasn't been a problem, because Mike has enabled them for so much success that we haven't even been worried about that. Our guys
Yeah.
they come in, and I say it like, because you hear that term like, oh, if a company says that you're treated like family, red flag. But we really do treat them like family. We
Yeah.
want to set them up for success. And I think that premise for our residential side has been a foundation for the EPC side. From giving
Yeah.
our internal reps iPads and all the technology they need from the get go. Not, oh, go
Yeah.
sell 10 jobs and then you'll get one. What? Why would you make
Right.
them crawl? Your
Right.
attrition ratio is going to be so high. And that was the same on the EPC side with these roofing contractors and solar dealers, where it was like, instead of making them go pay for all these programs and so, come here and we'll give it to you. We'll set you, if you fail, you did it to yourself. Like, so whether it's the design platform, we talk about Eagle Views. Are you going to make your sales reps pay for their own Eagle Views or roofers? No. So same with
Mhm.
solar. We offer that same thing here, and so we mirrored it to our residential side. So we've literally been like, here's your key, and be
Yeah.
successful. And let me tell you, it works. When you
Yeah.
when you give them everything to be successful, it works. You'll have some lemons here and there, but it's a whole lot less. My attrition here, and I could confirm a number with Mike if somebody so wanted it, but it is astonishingly low. It
Yeah.
really is.
I like that. You know, the the way in which that you structure your organization is so important, and how you enable your sales team is going to directly correlate to that attrition rate. And I do firmly believe that. And the people that don't believe it, they're running sales teams that to be quite frank, are falling apart, right? And they are going out and they're trying to purchase systems and calling coaches and figure out what the hell is going to happen and put a band-aid over it over and over and over again. And
Right.
it's a gashing wound that continues to pour out. You need to cauterize that thing and redo it.
100%.
So you know explain to me on your sales team when they go out and they sell. What's their main focus? Is it go get a sale, or is it how do I translate solar in a proper way to the community?
So we talk about it like this: the customer journey is at the focus for everything. So we're not big on high pressure sales tactics. There's a rep, I won't use his name, but he makes the pitch sell it itself. because the way that our
Yeah.
presentation software works, it becomes a no-brainer to where it shows you on the iPad, you're literally saving $40 a month. Why would you not want this? And people say
Mm.
yes or no. So with those high pressure sales tactics and like that forced sneaky free solar money back, get you a check in the mail, it changes that customer journey to
Yeah.
where and a mentor of mine, and I will quote him, Nathan Higgs. Those of you guys that don't know, we were friends in the past, or friends in the past, worked together in the past, still friends today. He would say your 5-star review starts at production,
Mm.
and so what we do at the front will start to chew on us as we go through. And I love our 5-star reviews. I can tell you that. I like that we haven't been slandered and beat down and beat up on the BBB. So our approach is always, is it affordable? Will it work? And walk away. It's okay
Mm.
if it's not. Like we'll literally, I've seen where guys have been like, it doesn't make sense for you to go solar right now. If something changes, let us know. Well, to bring in deals like that is just not never in somebody's favor. And I think
Right.
that along, you mentioned like the stack and starve. I think on this side is understanding the referral side. We're big with that. So we even
Yeah.
have an app that we track. It's the referral app. You can actually look us up on your iPhone or Android, and you can type in ProTerra Solar, pull you an app. It's because we live on that. Is we want people to refer us, and if somebody feels like they've been shazammed, they ain't ever going to refer anybody. Nobody's ever going to talk about it. Now we have some reps
Mm.
here that live off of that. That's how they make business. So I think that's like the core. And looking back to all my experience in roofing, I would probably say like some of the sales teams that on the production side that I've seen, where their attrition numbers were like 30, 40% even. It came down to that. Insurance company, they'll pay for it. We'll use your gutter money here or there or whatever. And then it made people feel wonky. You know what I mean? We didn't want that. And that was a
Yeah.
big thing for us here.
Yeah. Some people put themselves in that position, but then, others are led into that position. And that's really the sales reps doing. And I've been to plenty of homes. I sold roofs for over 11 years, and there were plenty of times that I'd go to the door, and I can tell that that client is looking for a handout. They want something for free. And when I go to the door and I assert myself in a certain way in which that shows them that I'm a professional and I'm coming here to give you the best customer experience,
Right.
that generally, unless they're just that cheap person,
Right.
generally, that wall starts to crumble down because you're providing them something they didn't expect. And that right there is where you win,
Right.
to be quite frank. So let's jump in on you know, solar, when solar should be installed on a roof. Um, and is there a time in which that solar should not be put on a roofing system? Um, so that's really what I wanted to jump into, because a lot of people run up on solar and it's on a roof that's like falling apart, right? So what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on this are I'm surprised roofers and solar contractors have been so far apart for so long because they
Mm,
both are masters of a certain art. And
yeah,
and and that to me like blew my mind to hear like opportunities that have separated.
yeah,
Where most solar contractors, they're not, is your roof leaking? Cool. And if it's not, they'll put it on there. It could be a 15-year-old 3 tab and they don't know no better.
yeah.
I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, that's an opportunity. You've left money there. Where on the
Hmm.
same side, I've seen roofers go, don't punch holes through my roof. It's a brand new roof. Yada yada. Where here's a reality. Here's a true fact. Here's my truth bomb. Right? Somebody is going to put solar on your customer's roof.
Yeah,
100%. It is an
yeah,
incredibly fast rising industry. I've said this in
Yeah.
another podcast. I'll say it here again. Why not you?
Yeah.
Who knows roofing better than us that we've installed, that we've instilled? I would tell you that I don't like to install solar on any roofs over, 7, 8, 9 years old. We try to use it as an opportunity to offer a roofing system. And if not, we even tell them, hey, if we're going to put the solar on this here, we even use that. Like you could lose your warranty, and to offset that. But for us, the kind of a best part is even adding this to it is um, you have an opportunity when you sell solar to even do your site checks and to take a look at your properties. And you're looking at roofs. Solar always, besides like I'm sure we could go through like some specialty roof systems that your couldas, wouldas, and shouldas. But let's be honest, most of where we know we're talking asphalt shingles, it works. It
Right.
goes on there, and the new mounting systems have their own leak warranties. When solar leaks, it's simply because of bad installation. It's never really
Yeah.
because the product fails. No different than most of the time. Let's be honest. When the roof leaks, well,
Right.
somebody didn't. Normally it's from roof to wall or a plumbing jack. So it works in that same concept. But the best part is when you're doing this, just like on the roofing side and for solar, is you have to make sure that your warranty is stout and you stand behind them. So we only use personally the best products like a lot of roofers, stand on, and from our mounting systems to even our installers, we
Yeah.
require that. Some of the best part too that I always try to explain to people is um, it's gotten a little bit better now, especially for us because we require like master electricians and licensed journeymen to be on site. That the quality has been a lot higher than probably and a lot better, faster than I had seen than I did with roofing, where people were you know finding guys in Home Depot parking lots and that said they could shingle. Now it has gotten better and the methods have, but you still get the
Right.
parameters. I think that's the only way that I would deter from a rooftop system is if they had the ability to put it in the ground and that's what they wanted. So you see a lot of ground mounts. Like I've seen people say, hey, they use so much electricity, they have a bunch of land, they can put it on the land, they'll put it all in the ground and not on the roof. Beyond
Yeah.
that, unless you just love the look of your roof or it is a certain specialty material, they've made solar
Is
look kind of pretty nice now. It's no longer that checkered look. Most people are doing all black. And HOAs, because I sit on an HOA board, we're okay with it now. It doesn't look bad. So
is there a major difference in maintenance for a roof mounted solar system or opposed to a ground mount solar system?
I would tell you the first main, kind of funny, the major difference is, yeah, you should clean your solar panels because they
Yeah.
do that little film on them. And the first major difference I would tell you is it's a lot easier to clean a ground mount than it is to tell the homeowner to climb up on their own roof and get the wiping. So
Ba, ba,
that is
ba.
that is a true reality. But some companies have this program where if you get a call back, hey, it looks like it's not producing as much, and that's also pretty cool because a lot of people you get your apps. There's apps that you can track it, whether through your inverter, through Enphase. You can see how much energy you're producing, and you can see that, and you'll see it start to dwindle down. That's kind of the advantage in solar that you don't see in roof. Because what's kind of a common question? When was the last time you looked at your roof? How many
Right.
how many how many how many hail damage roofs have you from the ground looked great, but up top you're like, wow, this is terrible. The best part is people are being able to track that on their phones, so they can give a call back. That right there is the number one piece of maintenance difference that I would tell you that's going to stand up. Besides people just flat out damaging their ground mount systems with lawn mowers or something
Yeah.
foolish.
That's kind of where I was thinking, like, weed eaters and weed eaters sling rocks like nothing, and so do lawnmowers. So, you know, I can only imagine having a ground mounted system and then like my sons go out to play, and then like damage. I can just see some bad stuff happening.
Oh,
But that's where I would probably put it on the roof because I got some crazy kids.
Well, I mean, the weed eater and sling. I can be honest. I've never seen a slung rock crack it because I've seen solar. Some people would argue and say, your solar panels are impact resistant. They can withstand a good beating from hail and from your
Oh,
rock.
really?
But yes, I'm sure if somebody walked out there with a ball peen hammer and swung with heavenly force, it'd absolutely shatter that pool.
Yeah.
So, but the way that the ground mount systems are, your weed eater would give up before it busted in. But if somebody, I don't know, drove their riding lawnmower directly into it, it would offset it. It wouldn't be a great thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, naturally, I would say if you got little kids, don't have them act a fool under the ground mount system with all the wires hanging. But it finds its production. But the biggest thing is keeping them clean. That's the best thing. Is they'll still produce, but it will start to affect their efficiency. So
Is
the
there any
biggest piece of
difference
maintenance,
between
like your
production
car.
on a ground mount and a roof mount? Is there difference in production?
No, 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 I mean, I could argue your what ifs, but systematically, not really. It's
Okay.
catching sunlight and it's producing.
Hmm. Solar flowers kind of sweeping around right now. What do you think about the solar flowers?
I'm more impressed I've seen the solar powered streets where people's cars are driving on them and they're turning them. Uh, Listen, we've seen even the solar shingles, which I won't use the names, but people are recalling them. For me, I want to see a whole lot more research on things and actual
Right.
production from them before I get excited about anything. And that's why like we haven't come out with like solar powered windmills and solar powered tennis shoes. We wanted it to be,
Yeah.
it's got to be proven to work. I've
Right.
seen the solar flowers. I think they're good. I think there's a lot of future there. I would just,
Yeah.
for us as a business, I'm going to watch it for another year or two and just to see if any of the ones that just came out are going to do exactly what they say and
Yeah.
produce. Same with the streets. Same with the solar shingles. I've seen some other uniqueness there. Let it get through their beta stages first, let's say, and then um, get to it. For me, can't beat the facts. The panels
Yeah.
work, and they work every time. They've worked for years, and they've only gotten better, just like shingles and these roofing manufacturers. It's all gotten better. So they're just perfecting the wheel, for lack of better words. I would stay to
Hmm.
the course, is what I'm getting at.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And is there so for me, whenever I think solar, um, no offense, but I see this guy knocking doors all day long to try to get a lead. How does Terra do things differently, and how would you suggest, say, a change in the solar industry?
Can't give all my secrets. No, I think door knocking has its advantage, and it does. But I would be lying to you if I said that the ROI on knocking doors was the same for solar was the same as knocking doors right after a hailstorm because it's
Yeah,
not. I
yeah,
think I've seen some sales guys right after a hailstorm, get 10, 20 contingencies and contracts. It don't happen like that. I think in
yeah,
the solar side, we tackle a little different. We use a lot of social media marketing. We use different like ad resources, different review sites, SEO marketing. Um, I wouldn't say anything like direct mailing, but for the most part, it stems around do you certain figures? Do you own your house? Do you pay your utility bill? Is it a little higher than you want it to be? And get that evaluation. Door knocking
are you
for me
pulling
is
data
we
for
pull we
that? Are
pull
you
we
like,
pull data. Yeah.
okay,
So we'll do
yeah,
like
because
sponsored Facebook ads where
yeah,
people can go in there and you'll type in, hey, this is my utility, this is how long I've been here, this and that. Is my house shaded? And then we can run that data. That works a lot better for us personally than door knocking, but we have a pretty ruthless door knocking team that still turns it over. So I can't fault those guys for bringing it home. Shout out to Dylan the Dragon because he tears it up and that guy goes out. So But a lot of stuff is a little different in solar. So we get a lot of that, like we call it like a warm lead, where people approach us to just to see what they can save.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot more in marketing than probably your average you know maybe hail contractor might. And that's because we want people to put their information and reach out to us. And I think that's where solar is different. But you got to think, with your average solar deal being somewhere between 50 and 70,000 versus I think your average roof in the Midwest being between like 9 and 11,000, you get a lot more bang
Right.
on one deal.
Yeah. So when looking at the numbers between the roof and a solar deal, I say you guys are printing money. Absolutely printing money. Would you encourage a roofing contractor to learn more about solar to partner up so that they don't lose money?
I would say it like this. Right now in 2023, especially going into 2024, if you don't have solar in your Rolodex, you would be blown away at the money you've left on the table.
Hmm.
And that is for a poor word's sake for me. You would be blown away at the amount of money that you've left on the table from a solar system. And the best part is if you're just selling solar, for the individuals that specialize that like to do hail claims and whatnot, you're gonna look at the roof anyway.
Hmm.
So for a roofing only contractor, and you have gutters over here, and everyone, I'll do the gutters, this and that. That's the
Right.
same. A lot of times, hey, solar's the big focus, and roofing is my guttering now. It's
Yeah.
my add-on service. I understand there's money on the table. I like it. It works well. I still love the trade. It's where we've been, but it it's such an easier pair because the roof's on there.
Yeah.
And I'd rather when's the best time to replace your roof? We say it in solar, but might as well replace it before I put the system on and get double the warranties. Because we own a roofing company too. Build Terra
Hmm.
is our roofing company that we it's the sister company to Pro Terra, and so we still do our own roofs. We've never lost the love for it, but being able to like change the mentality that you have, um, and like I was explaining to you before the call, I think I did one insurance roof this year. We don't even really operate
That's
with
astounding.
it. Crazy, right? It almost gave me anxiety for a while. But we don't do adjuster appointments. We switched to retail model. I don't work with insurance companies. We don't do any. Hey, you need a roof? Oh, your insurance. That's fine, but here, we'll do it for 10 grand.
Working with insurance companies, people don't understand. Like, you're skating on some laws that
Yeah,
are
you're right.
really, really like UPA is out there, unauthorized practice of public adjusting. And if you skirt that line, that adjuster or that insurance company, they may send you, demand or what have you in the future. And it's not very fun whenever you get some legal paperwork from an insurance company or a call from a lawyer because
Nope.
you're playing a public adjuster. So that's why I always lean heavily on West Group Public Adjusting because they handle all that for me. Like, when I got a state auto claim, I don't touch it. They do.
It's
Period.
good. Leave it there. And that was for like, why run the adjuster point? Like, I don't. We don't
Yeah.
here. You want a roof? 10 grand, whatever it is. Here's our cost. What your insurance does with that is none of my business. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not here to work with them. You want the roof? Here you go. So for us, I think that even that model, that kind of stress that you see, like a lot of like insurance contractors trying to go through roofing, here it is. And I know you hear a lot about that, nowadays with supplementing and whatnot. We don't even go through that. A roof should cost what it should cost.
Yeah.
And so we operate off of that. And again, I said it at the beginning, when's the best time? When we're putting the solar on, because I guarantee you we're going to be swinging at that. And it
Right.
works.
So what as a business owner, did you ever work W-2? Like for, I don't know, like scooping ice cream or gas station or something like that?
God, I wish. No, no, I've pretty much been in home improvement my entire life. My dad,
Okay.
my grandpa. This is kind of everything that we've ever done. Um, Everything will
Was there
continue.
ever anxiety like taking over, you know, in that family role? What kind of mentality, what kind of mindset did you employ, if there was any kind of anxiety there?
There definitely was. I think a lot of it, at least in my family, um, was like, stay small. Whatever you sell your job, you install your own job. Work local. My grandfather and my father owned the same company in Wichita, Kansas, and it was around for 50, 60 years. But they were owner applicators, if you know what I mean. And my
Yeah.
brother, who have become my friend, that has owns his own company, does a fantastic job, amazing quality, but is an owner operator as well. I think the anxiety from me was more like I wanted to do something a little bit bigger, and I wanted to
Yeah.
step out of like that normal like I needed to put the hammer down.
Yeah.
And great news is it's worked. It's also made me fatter, but whatever. Um, you know, there's, put the hammer down, change it for a fork. But um, but it allowed me to do what my own father would say, like, chase my own ambition and do it the right way. And learned a lot of hard lessons that way. It wasn't always perfect. It hasn't, still not perfect. Still constantly learning. But I would say that the anxiety wasn't. I couldn't stick to what we'd always done. Was
Yeah.
sell jobs, install jobs, sell jobs, install jobs, and work with a little crew and stay small and this and that. But um, it was like branching off and going bigger than that. And I'd say the biggest anxiety for us is I saw a photo on Facebook, was like not just caring about my own family.
Yeah.
When you become an entrepreneur, the stress is so much higher because we have people all over the country that work for us. I mean, our lawyers, we have so many W-2 people that are here, and if you really think about it, and you're a good owner, good entrepreneur, that's a lot of families that rely on you.
Yeah.
Not mess up. That's a lot of sleepless nights that you have to make sure that their paychecks always hit. That's it, because there's no universe from, oh, sorry, there ain't no money.
Yeah.
They have kids. Yeah, yeah. I actually, we laugh. We keep a sheet internally in the company. We know their birthdays. We,
Yeah.
we, we want to be connected. So I think the anxiety really stemmed from like wanting to do right by the people that believe in you. And it was different growing up, because you only had to believe in yourself. You got to swing your own
So
hammer to everyone else.
what kind of mindset do you have to employ to like get over that anxiety?
Well, I don't know if you ever do, but I say it a lot in the leadership meetings that we have as a company. I always say, do it for them. Do it for everybody that stands around you, everything that you have. And so I'm a very active owner. Mike and Sterling are very active partners, owners. We're not just sit back and make us money. If I'd say the mindset is never be too good is really what I'm trying to say. Is it,
Yeah.
hey, we can't find a crew, or that permit's not, let me get on the phone then. I got employees out the ears, but I'll get on the phone. I'll call on the permit. I'll show up to the
Yeah.
job site. I'll be there. I'll stand in the trench with you. I will never be too big for that. And God, if I
Mm.
hope I ever get too big for that, somebody humbles me.
Mm.
Because as owners, I've seen it to where people get comfortable and they sit back and they just start reading, P&Ls. And
Yeah.
no, I do have to read P&Ls, and it does keep me up late nights and sometimes early mornings. But I like to be involved. Hey, that
Yeah.
that 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 customer's upset. We actually have in our company, if a customer ever gets escalated, they get a personal call from us.
Mm.
One of us picks up the phone. Mike calls them. Sterling calls. I call them. We get on the phone with them, and hey, what could we do better? What
Yeah.
happened? And let me tell you, hoops and bounds higher than it could ever go. Doing it for everybody that's around you, and so we teach our leadership that we when we go over with them, like do it for them, all the way down from our VP level to our director to our manager to the bottom. Look at everybody next to you and say, how do I do it for them? Because you're always going to find a job, and I think if you have that single mentality and brew that as a team, people will work on their own. We want our team to be a unit, from
Yeah.
operations, production to sales. There ain't no division here. Sales can talk to operations, operations can talk to them. We want everybody to love each other. And that's why, like as a company, you see in these chats where all we do is compliment each side. And I think that that's what's made our install times faster, our employees happier, and us a million times more profitable. A million times. People don't realize your employees are happy, your profitability goes through the roof. And that has cured most of my anxiety. But I hope I never lose it, because I always want to stay a little anxious with them.
On
I
edge.
want to stay in the trench with them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
like that. A lot of people, um, they look at this podcast and they want like some sort of motivation. I'm speaking, for myself here, because I know that, there was a point in which that I looked at, certain podcasts for, that motivation. And, I've had people reach out to me from my hometown and, from other people watching it, and they look at it to see, what they need to change in their life to break free, to break through that barrier, and that's really why I ask those questions and I probe real deep into that mindset and what you would do, because really, there's those people that are sitting at home that have been on the couch that, they're the only thing that's standing between them and success is the man in the mirror or the woman
yeah,
in the mirror.
yeah.
And they got to figure it out. They got to understand how to get outside that box. So let me ask you this. So you're a business owner, you got a couple of companies there. Would you do anything different?
Would I do anything different? Like, would I have done anything different in the past, or would I do anything different now? And make sure I'm a
Yeah,
little
in the
more.
past. If you were to start over, if you were to do it all over again, would you have done anything different?
I would have, yeah, yeah. There's definitely would have. I think one of the biggest things that I would have adjusted quicker was learn to trust again. I
Mm,
think the industry
dang.
stabbed me in the back pretty heavy there for a while, and
Mm,
I was everyone that would come to me. I was quick to just push them away, or as I would say, like a lion in a corner, just stay away from me and let me stay at the top on my own. And learning it's okay to be scared, and to let people in. Um, I can't say, like, as a company now, we are everything that we are, both on our sales side, operationally, install wise, because we've surrounded ourselves and learned to trust great individuals. And I think that this company, especially surrounding ourselves with the individuals of just this ludicrous talent that believe in us, has been reassuring, because I thought I was always going to be safe as long as I didn't trust and just only believed in William. And I was very wrong. Now, of course, I'm a little smarter with my trust. Of course, you don't need to sign a contract. Just go sell deals. We'll pay it. We don't work like that. But
right.
building true trust with the team that we have, and belief in each other has been amazing. One, not just for my own personal development and getting to know them. I think for me, if I got a little more personal with you, um, I think coming from generations of really strong, disgruntled men, I guess you could say hard heads,
Yeah.
assertive, allowing myself to like open up a little bit more into trust, and surrounding myself with people who have allowed me to open new character traits for myself. Is it slow? Sure. Is it a learning process? It absolutely is. But I think a better William has risen from this. and not just a better owner and a better leader. And that's been amazing for me.
You have a routine that you employ on a daily basis?
I do actually, but we used to call it routine in the chaos. I have 4 kids, the oldest one being 7, all girls. I have
Oh,
I
you're
have a
blessed.
3-year. Well, no, she just turned 4. A 4-year-old, a 2-year-old is about to turn 3, and a newborn. So I have a routine, but understand it's a little bit of of chaos involved in there. But I'd say like some of the big things,
Organized chaos, right?
organized chaos. There you go. If you want to even organize is a stretch too. But uh, I'm I'm big now than I was before. We talked about doing things different, but um, being intentional with my children is a big one
Yeah.
for me. I had missed a lot with my first one. I traveled a lot. I built a lot. They say I don't remember what United called it, but you got like that certain flight status, and they'd say that how those people recognize their families, the photos in their wallet.
Yeah.
And I was my routine is now to like be intentional. So even my own team will call me, and so I take my kids to school. I eat breakfast with them. We sit down at night and we eat dinner. I could sit here and preach to you about my work routine and my work ethic, and I could, but none of those routines would happen without this core one. Being
Yeah.
intentional, listening to them and their stories. And I'd be lying to you if some of them didn't help make business decisions for us and how we handle things. I remember, I won't go into too much detail, but I was dealing with a work situation, and I was frustrated. And my oldest was like, just because they're doing a bad job doesn't make them a bad kid. And even though it wasn't a kid I was talking to, the
Right.
relevance was like, you know what, you're right. And um, I can
Out
implement
of the
that.
mouth of babes, man.
Right. The holiest of holies, as I say, because kids that can't do any wrong. And I'm like, man, here
Hmm.
you are teaching me a life lesson. Thank you,
Yeah.
really. Um, but in regards to work routines, always keep studying. That's the big one for us. Like, I think in the last year, I've got myself certified, I think 11 or 12 new certifications on the solar side. And just, you're never too good for that. So there's a routine that I had this year was I wanted to do at least 10. And I think I'm staring down the barrel of like 12. Hopefully maybe another one or two before the end of the year. Constantly being better, self improvement. I think it's the biggest one. The moment I sit there and think that I phrase it in a way, but you ever heard that old expression, you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room?
Yeah.
I always used to add on to that and say, I strive to be the smartest person in the room. I
Yeah.
want to be. It's like it's such a big deal to me because that means I'm constantly elevating to new rooms and
Yeah.
sitting with new people. And then how do I learn what these guys know? What do I need to do? And I think that build into that routine has been amazing for me.
Freaking love it. Uh, one or two good takeaways from this episode that you think that would be beneficial for business owner, roofing company owner, solar company owner?
Um, I'd say if I gave two, first one would be is I'll kind of pre-quote myself from earlier is somebody's going to put solar on your customer's home. It might as well be you. You know your roofs better than anybody else. You should warranty those and make sure you understand the system that's going to be put on there. I cannot express that enough. And the second thing is, it won't be work related, is, you know, treating your people right will make you more profitable. Loving your
Hmm.
people and taking care of them will make you more profitable. I believe it, and it's worked here. So if you're worried about, how oh, I'll hire an extra person, but it'll hurt my bottom line, it won't. Hiring the people, get the help, and treat them good, and watch your profits go up, and watch your stress level go down. That's been one of the amazing
Mm.
things. Those are two biggest things that I'll take away for roofing owners, because I know it's stressful, still stressful, but got to be around for a long time, right? I don't want to be out of here when I'm 40.
Mm. I I vibe that. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a live stream today on the Roofing on the Rise Studios. We are sponsored by Roofing Supply Incorporated here in the Houston marketplace, where you can get your shingles from me. Telephone number 210-919-8987. Again, 210-919-8987. We're also sponsored by West Group Public Adjusters. You're looking for an awesome, different claims experience for your clients, hit up West Group Public Adjusting. They got everybody in place, bunch of PAs, they got lawyer relationships, they got everything that you need for a PA for your client. Hit them up. If you don't know their number, you can get it from me, 210-919-8987. We are also sponsored by RepCard. RepCard has been going the distance and providing me with an amazing digital business card for the last 3 years. I love to give back and talk about them all the time. It's actually how everyone pretty much does business with me. You can find it on my stories. You can find it attached to just about anything. RepCard. Go and look them up. If you're looking for an awesome card, give me a holler. Again, it was an amazing live stream. William, thank you so much for joining us today. I
Thanks for
appreciate it,
having
brother.
me. Appreciate it, guys. Thank